France stretched their unbeaten run to 12 games after a nail-biting victory over the Springboks in Marseille last night. The Springboks saw red early in the first half when Flanker Pieter-Steph du Toit was given his marching orders by referee Wayne Barnes. That was for a headbutt on French centre Jonathan Danty. After du Toit was carded, there was some superb execution from the French. They built up a try next to the post. Prop Cyril Baille getting over the whitewash. Springbok skipper Siya Kolisi, who had a great game, then broke off the side of a driving maul to score near the post. Cheslin Kolbe and Ramos traded further penalties, so it was 19-13 when the match saw another red card, with the French captain scrumhalf Antoine Dupointe this time being the man guilty of bringing Kolbe down in the air. A great pass when using the blind side not far out from the French line put Arendse in for a lovely try, and this time Faf de Klerk kicked what was a stupendous conversion from the touchline to put the Boks ahead for the first time. Sipili Falatea then scored a controversial late try for France. That all but sealed that 30-26 win for the home side. Now, to unpack that match and the South African end of the year tour so far, I'm joined by SA Rugby magazine writer Dylan Jack. Dylan, a very good morning to you. First of all, give me a summation of your thoughts on the match against France yesterday.
Good morning, Boshe. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was a fascinating clash. It was very much a sort of a all holds barred, sort of no holds barred sort of test match between these two teams, and a bit of a tactical battle between the two coaches as well. I thought the Boks, despite losing that game, played extraordinarily well, especially considering they played 68 minutes with a red card. France ultimately pulled it through with that late try and penalty, but I thought the Boks, there's a lot of positives that the Boks can take from this game. Yeah,
specifically coming out of that Ireland match, what do you make of the two games as a whole that they've played so far?
I think the Boks, they improved a lot on what they did wrong against Ireland. I thought especially their place kicking and their goal kicking, considering there's no Handre Pollard, there's no Alton Yankees, I thought the place kickers did really, really well against France. I think they can actually be quite happy that they've lost two games, but they can be quite happy with the margin of the defeats and the fact that they're missing a lot of key personnel. Lukanyam also isn't on tour. He's still injured. So there's a lot of key personnel that are missing, but they're still developing things that will help them in next year's World Cup.
Yeah, Pieter-Steph du Toit will be one of the personalities that will be missing now for the rest of the tour. He's, of course, going to serve a suspension for that red card. A chance for somebody else to get into that number 7 jumper?
Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps it's a chance for, let's say, an Ulrich Lowe, or you could put Quacker Smith at number 7 and bring in Evan Roos into number 8. So, yeah, there's definitely an opportunity that's perhaps opened up, because Pieter-Steph won't play next week against Ireland.
Yeah,
Italy.
Against the Italians, absolutely. We saw as well, speaking about personnel, a slight change of tactics yesterday from the Springbok coaching staff. What do you make of the style of rugby that they played yesterday? It seemed to catch France off guard a little bit.
Yeah, you could see they definitely came into the game with a plan, starting Curtly Arendse on the left wing instead of Makazole Mapimpi, who regularly starts there for the Springboks, bringing Willie Leroux in. So there was definitely a plan there to sort of not fall into France's trap, and sort of move that French pack around a lot. And you could see it took a toll on the French forwards. They looked exhausted after about 25, 30 minutes. So I thought it was a really, really clever plan that the Springboks had come up with, and to a large extent, it kind of worked. I thought Curtly Arendse was absolutely outstanding. Cheslin Kolbe was excellent back on the right wing. Willie Leroux was very, very good again at fullback. So there was a lot of good in that game.
Yeah, and something hardly ever seen, 100% kicking performance from all of our kickers yesterday in that game. We take on Italy up next. A bit of a banana peel this game. How do the Springboks approach it? Do they blood guys like Mani Libok, give them an extended run? How do the coaches look at this game against the Italians?
I think they might have been looking at this game as an opportunity to give one or two players a run, but then you look at the fact that Italy beat Australia, who did change their lineup a little bit yesterday, and then that might change things for the Springboks. They might want to send out, especially now coming off 2 defeats, you don't want to go 3 defeats and then go into England on the back of 3 successive losses. So I think they're going to keep things quite regular with the starting lineup. I don't expect too many changes. I think they're going to try and go in as strong as possible because they're going to need that win.
Yeah, I mean, in the pre-match interview, Rassie Erasmus, the director of South African Rugby, drew parallels to the 2018 campaign before the Boks went on to win the World Cup. What do you make of the form this year and also the experimental nature of the Springboks?
Yeah, it has been very indifferent, and that can be a little bit of a concern, the fact that there's very little consistency from the Springboks at the moment. But I think we also have to place each defeat in its own context, and the fact that the Springboks are trying a lot of stuff out. They're trying to give new players opportunities. They're trying to reward the outstanding URC players with call-ups and with debuts, and they're also trying to evolve their game plan beyond their regular strengths of the maul and the scrum. They're trying to evolve in a sort of a backline capacity and trying to get more in terms of that. So I think if you put it into context, there is a reason why there has been a bit of a lack of consistency from the Springboks.
Yeah, the Springbok management and I guess management across the world can't really speak on referees, Dylan, but we definitely can. Wayne Barnes, his performance for you yesterday?
Yeah, he was solid enough until, and both of the red cards were exactly, he was very decisive with the red cards. Both were very much red cards, both Pieter-Steph du Toit and Antoine Dupointe. But then sort of from the 60th, 65th minute, it sort of all seemed to go a bit haywire there in the officiating department. And then obviously you had that controversial loss of comms with the television match official with that last try, which was obviously a little bit controversial there.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think should have happened in that incident? It's been a raging debate this morning here at work. What do you do when the referee can't connect with the TMO?
Yeah, this is the thing, is Wayne Barnes was probably thinking he was secure in his decision that it was a try. He was pretty secure in that. He probably thought he didn't want to drag out the test match for that long, waiting for comms to be restored with the TMO. So he just decided to take the decision in his own hands, and that's his prerogative as the referee. But I probably would have waited for comms to be restored and double-checked the trial, because it was such a decisive moment in that test match that you really needed to get it spot on. But yeah, that's his that was his decision and his prerogative as the matchday referee to take a decision and to stick with that decision.
I tell you, Dylan, when I was watching the game, I had a lot more colorful superlatives
thrown
at Wayne Barnes at that moment. Thank you so much for your time.